We stopped in the last session. The last session we discussed about the first Hello World program, right? Okay, let's recap the session. So yesterday we already saved that file, right? Let me go to our workspace folder. Um, this is the one. So open with the paint. Yeah. Now the entire flow, tell me. Entire flow. First question: if you want to develop any content, any template by using React, okay, how many minimum libraries are required? Three libraries, right? One is like React, another one is like React DOM,
Yes,
and one is like Babel or not. Okay, say where my React application is going to run. My React application is going to run where? Inside the browser only, right? Everything inside the browser only. Okay, my React application is going to run inside the browser. Yes or no? Can anyone tell which technologies we can say like a client side technologies? Which technologies come under client side technologies? HTML, CSS, JavaScript. On top of this, if you have okay, any libraries or frameworks, those all are come under client side technologies only or not. So, okay, HTML, CSS, and JS. On top of that one, we have some libraries, frameworks are there. One of the libraries like React is there. Okay. Or we can say these are like client-side technologies means very simple. Using these technologies, we are going to prepare some content. That content is going to render inside the browser. Those technologies we can say like a client-side technologies, which are run inside the browser, which are rendered, the content which is rendered inside the browser, those all are come under what? Client-side technologies only or not. Okay. Now, inside the browser, I want to render some content. If you want to render some content inside the browser, first of all, which file run inside the browser, which files are going to run inside the browser? HTML files. Yes or no? First, take one HTML file. HTML files only going to run inside the browser. It's like a client-side rendering, server-side rendering. Okay, that is like separate discussion. Leave it. Only HTML files can run inside the browser. Okay, to see the content. Okay, here some other files that also you can see, for example. Okay, now if you come here, okay, JS file also directly you can run here. Okay, you can see what JS content. The next one is like, okay, some other APIs also. Okay, get request to post request to like this JSON photos. Now see, this is the URL. Okay, render this content or not. Yes or no? Not only HTML, there has some other stuff also load inside the browser. But most of the times to prepare the content, we are going to use like what? Most of the times in the browser, there has some content loaded, right? If it's take like a Google only, inside this much content is loaded. This content rendered, okay, this content we developed by using HTML or not. If you observe here in the browser, this is an API, but this content is there. Nah, this content, it's a kind of again HTML. If you observe here, okay, see, inspect it. Now, if you go to elements tab, now see, there has some content loaded. Which content is loaded? HTML only, right? HTML header, body, okay, pre-tag is there. Okay, remaining all content you can see here. So HTML code only render inside the browser. Only HTML code only render inside the browser. Okay, files wise HTML file you can run. This is like a API. Okay, and this one is like, okay, this is like an API, and another one is like a JavaScript file. Okay, these files you can run. See, there has a yesterday's discussion. Okay, let me open our workspace folder. There has, you can take this one. This is like what? One JS file, right? Can I copy this one? If you go to the browser, if you click on this one, see my JS files. my JS file loaded inside the browser or not. But this content, if you observe, if you inspect it, see this content, how it is loaded. This content, how it is loaded. HTML header body, in the body tag only it's loaded or not. Finally, in the browser, whatever the content loaded, that content is like HTML only. If you want to make it look and feel that content, you can use CSS. For example, this content, I want to make it like color is like red or something. See, I want to make it like, okay, color red. My font size is like 50 pixel. Now it is looks like this. Yes or no? Now if you want to perform some actions, then the time JavaScript is required. So finally, the content which is loaded inside the browser, that content as rendered like what, HTML code only or not. Yes or no? Here the URL may be vary. It's like a JS URL. This is like a one REST endpoint, and this one is like one simple, okay, HTML file, whatever it is. One simple HTML file. Now copy this. Okay, this is like one simple HTML file. See here, I opened like multiple files. One domain I opened, this content loaded. This content is what, HTML only or not. If you want, you can check, inspect it. Now see, it is rendered like HTML only or not. To make it look and feel, see, yes, you can apply. Here I opened like what, one JS file. In the browser, this content loaded. This content rendered as like HTML only or not. See, HTML head to body. If I delete this body element in the HTML, my content gone. Yes or no? Do control Z. Here, which file is running? Okay, URL. What is the URL? One REST endpoint. But the content, how it is loaded inside the browser? Like HTML only or not? So finally, in my browser, some content loaded means that the content rendered as like HTML only. Now here, I rendered like what? One. Okay, I just opened hello.html. That content also rendered like what? Okay, in the browser, whatever the content loaded, that content rendered as like HTML only or not. To make it like look and feel, some CSS applied. That is also loaded in browser. To make it like some, okay, actions. If you want to perform some actions, something like this, some JavaScript, if you want to write, you can write it or not. So finally, in my HTML, okay, in my HTML, okay, these many tags, okay, here in this particular one, if you observe, okay, the script tag also you can write it. The script tag is for what? Okay, to perform some actions. You can write some CSS, okay, style tag, you can use it, okay, to make it like look and feel or not. So in the browser, some content loaded means that content rendered as like HTML. Okay, this can be anything. It's a domain name, it's a JavaScript, and this one is like one endpoint, REST endpoint, and this is like one HTML file. But the content which is loaded inside the browser, that is rendered like HTML. Now come to our discussion. Now in the HTML, I want like some space. Okay, in this particular, while running this HTML file in the browser, I need some space to render my component content. So I need some space. So I written like what? One div, like this I written. Okay, this div, can I say like what? A container. Okay, can I say like a container? Yes or no? Okay, in the HTML, okay, that means this HTML is running inside the browser. In the browser, I have some space. Okay, that space reference is what? Div. Okay, done. Now, inside this div, I want to render some content. That content I want to prepare using React. So, how we can prepare the content in React, or how we can prepare some templates in React? Using components. How many ways we can create the components? Two ways. One is like functional component, another one is like class component. Class components already deprecated, so you can go with the functional components. So how we can create the functional component? It is syntactically same like a function. So can I write like a this? If you write like this, if you see in my mind, I'm thinking like this is like a function. Yes, you are also right. Okay, this is like a function. But when you can say it's like a function, if I use like this, my app is like a function. If I use like this, my app is like a functional class. If I use like this, If I use like this, my app is what? My app is a component or not. So now onwards, in React, if you want to use the component, how we can use it? As like an element format. Okay, starts with a capital letter. If I use like this one is like a component. So the component is used for what? To prepare some content. So how we can prepare the content? Okay, just as per your requirement, that is maybe one line. Okay, that is maybe 100 lines also. Okay, hello world. Okay, that is maybe one line, that is maybe 100 lines also. At this moment it's like one line. Now tell me, in the component, whatever the code you written to prepare the content, whatever the code you written to prepare the templates, that code terminology wise now onwards I can say like what? Terminology
JSX
onwards I can say like a JSX. JSX stands for JavaScript and XML.
and XML.
A combination of okay, HTML, JS, and XML. Yes or no? So I used JSX code to prepare the template. That particular template you should not keep in my app. You should have to give. Okay, you should have to give it back. You should have to return it. Then only he can keep inside this container or not. So whenever you create a component, okay, with some content, that content should return or not. That content should return. Yes or no? So I prepared one component. Okay, inside the component, I prepared some template or some content, you can say. I prepared some template. That template also I returned. So this component, where it is going to load? In the browser or not? Tell me, whenever it is loaded in the browser, is my browser know about how to recognize this one like a component by default? By default, my
No,
browser only three things: HTML, CSS, JavaScript. My browser by default he don't know about the React. That the reason. Okay, by default my browser is not recognize this particular app as a component. So that okay, you need to okay, tell to my browser here this is like a component. Like that some other person help is required to understand. Okay, make it understand to my browser this is like a component or not. So whose help it's going to take? There has one library is there. That library is what? That library is what? React
React
library.
library.
React library is used for okay, recognize the components or not. Okay, it is like, it is make it like my browser understand this particular one is like a component or not. Yes or no? This is my React library. Okay, so once my React library loaded in the browser, now my React library helps to my browser to understand this one like what? To understand this one like a component or not. Once my browser understand this one like a component, from the component what you have to take? From the component what you have to take? From the component what you have to take? You have to take this particular template, right? So this template you prepared by using what? This template you prepared by using what? JSX or not? But here, whatever the code you written, whatever the code you written, that is like a JSX. Okay, my JSX code should what? My JSX code should compile or not? Yes or no? Okay, is my browser knows how to compile the JSX code? Is my browser knows how to compile the JSX code? Is my
No,
browser knows how to compile the JSX code? No, right? So who can helps to my browser to compile that JSX code? Who can help? My
Babel.
more library called as a Babel is my library or not. So here, okay, my JSX code compiled with Babel or not, compiled by Babel. Okay, once my JSX code is like compiled, now you have compile time errors, you have to fix it. If no compile time errors, nothing, it means it's like a error free code. Once you have a error free code, that code you have to render where? That code you have to render where? Inside the container or not? So is my browser know how to render my React content inside the container? Is my browser know how to render okay, React content inside the container? I don't know.
No,
So it's take again one more person help. Who is that guy? That guy is like React DOM
no.
library. or not. Now my React DOM library take this container and take this component content and render that component content inside the container or not. So finally, now my React component content or template which is rendered inside the browser or not. So overall, how many libraries are involved? Three libraries involved or not? Three libraries involved or not? One is like to recognize this one like a component. Another one is like the component has okay some template. The template prepared using JSX. The JSX code should compile. That compilation done by whom? Babel or not? Now once my compiled code you have, that compiled code has to render inside where? That compiled code has to render inside where? Come on, inside the container.
container.
Okay, how the content render inside the container using React DOM. Got the point? This is the way yesterday we completed our program or not. Okay, okay then let's go with the another requirement. Up here, okay, bro? So the next requirement is very simple. Okay, just okay, I want to prepare okay one image. Okay, just I want to add one image like this. Okay, the image header is required for me. Okay, image header is required. Okay, here the image photo also, some image something like this, some photo in between. Here just I want like one image. Okay, just I want like one image. This is the template. Okay, template is nothing but okay, just you can say like it's a view. Whenever it is rendered inside the browser, my template should looks like this. My views should looks like this. What is my view here? I need one image. That image heading is here. The next one is like image photo. Okay, some description is here, and here okay I want to place one image. Okay, in the past hello world you rendered. Now this time you have to render what? One image or not using React. Tell me, what is this? What are the steps? What is the procedure if you want to render some content inside the browser using React? What is the procedure? First, one HTML file is required. So let me create one HTML file, image.html file. Done. Whenever you run this file in the browser, my image or my content which you prepared using React rendered inside the browser. That's the reason in my browser I need some space to place my React component content or not. So first I need one container. So can I take one container? So id equals to root. That's it. Inside this container I want to place my React component content. So how we can prepare the content or templates in React using components? So I want to create one component. So can I create the component? How we can create the component? How we can create the component? Syntactical, it's like a function. Functional component, it's like a function. Just I written like this. Now tell me, is my browser can recognize by default it's like a React component? My browser can use this one like a function. My browser knows how to use this one like a class, but my browser don't know how to use this one like a component or not. So who helps to my browser to recognize this one like a component, to use this one like a component? Who helps to my browser? My React library or not? So can I get that React library? Can I load that React library? Done. Okay, now inside this particular one, okay, inside this app I want to prepare what? I want to prepare some template or not? Just I want to prepare some template. Done. I want to prepare some template. This template, okay, you want me to keep, okay, template is nothing but don't think more. One element you can take some content, okay, based on your requirement, whatever you want, you can write it. Okay, here can be written it. This particular template you should have to written or not. This particular template you should have to written. Now tell me here, okay, as per your requirement, you have to write some code. Okay, requirement, keep it aside. First of all, whatever the code you written to prepare the content or prepare the template, that code we can say like a JSX, right? So JSX code, who can compile? Who can compile the JSX code? Babel. So that can I get the Babel? Can I get the Babel? So this is my Babel. Okay, done. Now this particular one, this particular app recognized as like a component by React library. This particular content, okay, whatever the code you written to prepare this content, it is nothing but JSX. That JSX is compiled by Babel. But externally, you have to tell whatever you written inside the script that is compiled as like by default JavaScript by default. But you want me to compile as a JavaScript as a Babel, as a
Babel.
the reason you have to change as like Babel. Okay, initial days we are going to write okay, individual programs. After that we are going to create our applications using node package manager or YAR. Okay, now come here. Once you have the component with some compiled content, that content you have to render inside the container. Who can do that work? Who can render the content inside the container? React
React
DOM.
DOM.
So can I get the React DOM library? So how we can get the React DOM library? Okay, using this JS file. This is the library. Once you have the React DOM library, you can start work on it. Inside this container, I want to place this content. How we can? My React. First of all, container reference we can get it. How we can get the container reference? Container reference is equals to okay, document dot get element by id of what? Id of root. Now this is like a JavaScript. Okay, by using JavaScript I take in the reference. But here I have a JavaScript content. Simply I can write like container reference dot inner text or inner HTML. But you have the content, React content or JavaScript content, React content. So that using JavaScript, it's not possible to render inside the container. So who is coming to the picture to render React component content inside this container? React DOM. So first my React DOM, take your container. Okay, my React DOM has one method called as a create root. Okay, that create root use your container and he prepared one root element. So here it's like JavaScript container. Now this container managed by who? React DOM or React DOM or not? Once it is managed by React DOM, inside that container, what you have to load, what you have to render. Okay, in this particular route, we have the render method. What you have to render? I want to render this app component or not. Or we can use this one like a component as like a element format or not. As like a element format like this you can. Okay, self-closing element. Okay, it's like open close element. Your wish. You can write like this. Inside this one, just you can write some okay, random text like this. Now it is going to work or not, you can check it. Okay, now let me run this. Now, if you observe here, my content loaded or not? Yes or no? My content loaded or not? But as per my requirement, just I needed like what? One image I want. As per my requirement, just I want like one image. So can I get one image? Okay, simply. Okay, so you can take like Amazon or whatever it is. Okay, just you can take one image. Okay, just I want this image. Okay, this image you can take it. So just if you want this image only, you can use like a snipping tool. Just crop it. Okay, let me save this one. Where you want me to save? In our workspace folder. Can I go? Go to your workspace folder. Okay, MERN stack. Okay, here my image is the program, right? Just you can put like image. Okay, done. Now come here. Now come here. Just I want to add this image. How we can add this image? How we can add this image? We have image tag is there, right? Okay, in JavaScript, okay, in HTML we have the image tag. Okay, using image tag you can render the image or not. Same HTML only can write it, HTML only. But whenever you use that HTML code in my component to prepare the content, that one turn to be like a JSX. Okay, let me write here image source equals to what is my image name? my image.png or not. My image.png. Now if you come here, okay, let me run this. Okay, now my image loaded or not. Now here I want like some header and I want some, okay, footer also, right? So here just you can add one div or one h3 you can, okay. Here I want like one header, okay. Here, okay, I need some description, okay. Just you can use like some tag, okay, like footer, just you can put like h1. If you observe here the overall thing, it is a kind of what, okay, it is also html, it is also html, and this one also like what, html only or not. That the reason, okay, you should learn, okay, you should have some idea, basic idea of html. So once you prepare this template, now this time it is like what? JSX, not one line. We have like 3 lines or not. In future, there has 300 lines also based on my requirement. Now, once this JSX code, okay, once this JSX code compiled by Babel, that compiled code render inside this container using React DOM or not. Who can recognize this one like a component? Who can recognize this one like a component? React library or not? So this is my simple program, right? The execution, okay, from where my execution is going to start. Okay, execution flow, if you observe, from where my execution is going to start, see, it is like a synchronous, right? Okay, HTML, whatever you written the code, it's like synchronous way. It is like render your content or not. So first, my React library loaded, and then my Babel library loaded in the browser, and then my React DOM library loaded in the browser, and then my div, my container loaded in the browser. Container loaded in the browser. After that, it comes to the script tag. Okay, first my function, yeah, line number 10 to line number 16. Okay, now it is calling, just it is loading. It is like defined a function. It's not loading. Okay, it's not calling, right? Whenever you write some function like this, okay, whenever you write some function, for example, this is my function. Okay, it is not directly call. When it is going to call, it is not directly call. When it is going to call, come on, when it is going to call, whenever you, okay, can I cut this? Can I paste here? Whenever you write this kind of code, then only it is going to call or not. Okay, it's a kind of define a function, and it is like what? It is like call a function or not. Here also same. Here just you defined a component. This component is not rendered, okay, at this moment. Okay, just you defined a component. That's it. Which kind of component this is? It is like a functional component or not. You defined one component which returns some JSX content or not, which returns some template. Okay, that is prepared using JSX. Okay, done. Now here it is defined. After that, line number 18. Line number 18 gives me what? Using document predefined variable in JavaScript, you get the reference of this particular container using ID or not. You have an ID root, so that using that, okay, ID, using this document.getElement by ID method, you get the reference. Not only getElement by ID, there has multiple ways over there to get the reference. See, document is a predefined variable in JavaScript. Document.getElement by ID, class name, tag name, or you can use like a query selector. Whatever you want, you can use it. But finally, you should have to get the reference of your element. Finally, you can get the reference of your element. Once you get the reference of element, now my React DOM, okay, from here the actual execution is going to start. My React DOM has which method? My React DOM has which method? Create
Create
root
row.
is the, now if you observe here, okay, my React DOM has create root is the method. React DOM, okay, React DOM, React DOM. Which method is there? Create root is the method. There or not there? Create root is the method. Now using that method, okay, you get the root element. That means you prepare a root container which is managed by the React DOM. You take container reference only, but that is managed, controlled by whom? React DOM or not. Once my React DOM, okay, controlled this container, now inside that React, okay, inside that container, he renders what? Render is the predefined method inside this root. He render your component or not. So line number 20, from here, my execution is going to, component execution is going to start. Now see, you take the container reference, that container reference taken by the React DOM and managed. Okay, now the main container managed by whom? React DOM, line number 90. Okay, once it is controlled by React DOM, he render what? A component or not. Now tell me here, whenever it is rendered inside the browser, the element with capital letter, by default my browser knows element with capital letter as a component. My browser don't know by default. Already my React library loaded or not, that the reason my React library helps to my browser to recognize this one like a component. What is my component name? My browser recognized this one like a component. What is my component name? Yap. So it is looking for which component? Yap component. Yap component already defined or not? Yes, there are, not there are. Yes, there. Whenever he find, okay, that particular component with the name of Yap, okay, now it is going to call. Whenever you call a function in general, you can get the return value or not. Yes or no? You can get the return value or not. Yes or no? This return value, whatever you have, that is rendered where? That is rendered inside the container or not. Yes or no? This particular one, when it is going to compile, compilation is happened whenever you define or not. See here. Now I define this function. I define this function. No compile time error, nothing. Now, for example, if I remove this one, now see, there has a syntax error. Syntax errors, you can get it at the time of compilation, right? So at the time of loading only, okay, this particular content is like compiled with JSX or not. Okay, yes or no? Compile with Babel. This particular JSX code compile with Babel or not? When? At the time of defining only. Okay, once you defined, here you are using, you are calling. Whenever you call, you get this compiled content. That compiled content render inside this root. Root is maintained what? Your reference or not? Yes or no? This is your actual execution. Okay, again say, it's like a synchronous way. In your HTML, whatever you code written, that is like a synchronous way, is nothing but line by line, it's going to execute. First, okay, React library loaded, and then Babel loaded, and then React DOM loaded, and then container loaded inside the browser, which is placed inside the body tag. And then, okay, load your component. Whenever you load it, at that time only, it is going to looking for what? Compile time errors. Okay, who is going to compile? My text Babel. Babel is going to compile your code or not. Once you compile, okay, there is no compile time error, nothing. Then the time it comes to here, it takes the container reference. That container reference now, okay, managed with whom? Okay, managed by the React DOM or not. Once my React DOM take the controller of the container reference, in the container, he is going to render what? Your component. Whenever you return, okay, the element with the capital letter, my browser can understand this is like what? This is like a component. Now it is looking for the component. Whenever that component is there, he call and he get the return value. That return value render inside the container. Okay, once it is rendered inside the container, okay, now inside the container, what is my container? Inside my div, this is my container, right? Now your content loaded or not? Your content loaded or not? Yes or no? Agreed, everyone? Okay? Okay, then the next requirement. Okay, now in future, okay, I want like this. Okay, you can take, imagine, okay, just I want side by side, like this I want. Okay, for that purpose, we have one concept is the lists and keys. So that time we are going to discuss that. Okay, now let's go with the next level requirement. My requirement is what, just simple. Just print hello Sachin, okay, 5 times. Okay, this is my requirement. Very simple requirement. Hello, Sachin. Hello, Sachin. Hello, Sachin. This is my requirement. Whenever I run my page in my browser, this particular content has to be rendered using React. Let's go there. How we can? If it is only the requirement, how we can start? If it is only the requirement, how we can start? Okay, let's go. First, what do you have to create? One HTML file is required or not? Can I create one HTML file? Yes. Okay, done. First, next one. If you want to render some content inside the browser, in my browser, I need some space. That means container is required. Okay, container is required. See how I'm writing, just like that only practice. Container is required. Okay, whenever you run this one, this container placed where? Inside the browser, inside the body or not? Inside the browser, inside the body or not? Okay, let me run this. Inside the browser, inside the body. Now inspect it. Now go to elements. See inside the body. This is my whole body. Now if I put the cursor, this is my whole body. Okay. In the body, I have some space or not. Okay. You can place your content now. Okay. Done. Next. What is the next one? Come on. Inside the container, I want to place some content. That content I want to prepare using React. How we can prepare the content using React? Using components.
Component.
How many ways we can create the components in React? Two ways. One is like
Two.
class, one is like functional. So class components deprecated so that you can go with the functional components. So can I go with the functional components? Yes. How the functional component syntactically looks like? It's like a normal function only or not. Just I'm going to write like app component. Okay, done. Who can recognize this one like a component? Who can recognize this one like a component? React library or not? So can I add the React library? So first you can add the React library. Done. Now the component used for what? To prepare the content or not? Yes or no? So can I prepare the content? Yes. Done. Whatever the code you written to prepare the content inside the component, that code syntactically or terminology wise, what you can say?
Yes.
JSX. JSX stands for JavaScript. Who can? Okay, JSX code should compile. Who can compile the JSX code?
Babel.
Or not?
Babel.
Babel. Okay, my Babel library is required. So the code, whatever you have, okay, that means whatever the code you have to prepare the content, that particular content or template, you want me to keep with the component or you want me to return it to render inside the container. You have to return it so that whatever the code you written, whatever the template you prepared, that should be written or not. Done. Okay, now this particular component, okay, has some content. That content has to compile using Babel so that my type is like what? Text Babel. Done. The next one. This component I want to render inside this container by using which library?
React DOM.
Which method is there? Which method is there? To create React DOM container. Create root is the. It's take your actual container or not. This time I'm using like query selector. My selector is like ID, hash is representing ID root. See, you can get finally that particular container reference, that is using get element by ID na, class name, tag name, query selector all. It's not a matter for us. Now, instead of writing 2 lines, I created, okay, I added like within single line. Okay, it returns me what?
Root container.
Okay, it is like a root container managed by whom?
React.
DOM or not. Once my container managed by React DOM, my React DOM know how to render your component inside the container or not. Which method is there?
Render.
Render is the method. So how we can render your component? How to use your component as like a element. As like a element format. Done. Okay, here whatever you want to write, you can write it. Inside this one, whatever you want to write, you can write it. Now you can run. Okay, name, open with. Now it is working or not working. Okay, not working. Okay, now what do you want me to do? It is not working. Now save it. Okay, what's wrong with this one? Can anyone guess? It is not.
React DOM.
Yeah, you know that one. Just you need to analyze. You need to analyze this error. So how we can analyze this error? How we can analyze this error? Okay, first of all, whenever you run, okay, any application, okay, which is rendered inside the browser. If you get any errors, you can see in the console. So let's go to the console. In the console, you can see what is the error. Reference error, React DOM is not defined. That means you're using React DOM, but that React DOM is not there in the browser. Okay, now let's check it in the source tab. Okay, now if you observe here, we have Babel is there, we have React is there. Do we have the React DOM library? Is it loaded or not loaded?
Not loaded.
Not loaded, right? Not loaded, right? Okay, so that if you want to check in another way, we have React is there, we have Babel is there, we have React DOM or not? Not there. So that we missed that React DOM library or not. So can I get that React DOM library? Come on, can I get this React DOM library? Can I add it? You can add it. Now come here. Can I refresh the page now? Can I refresh the page now? Now can I go to the source? Now if you come here, my React DOM library loaded or not? Yes or no? Now if I open this one, okay, this is my actual React library, right? Now in the React library, if you observe here, okay, React development.js, it's a file name. Okay, who developed this particular library? Library is nothing but simple JS file which contains variables, methods, classes, all. Who developed this React library? Facebook people or not? Yes or no? My current React version, which version you are using? You are using like 18.3.1 or not? This license is like MIT license, okay, it's like a open source. Okay, open source is nothing but, okay, it's like a free of cost. The source code also directly you can see what they written or not. Yes or no? Okay, now come to our requirement. You want like only SSR, not like that. As per your requirement, what is it? What is your output? Output should be what? Hello Sachin, how many times?
Five
Hello
times.
Sachin, how many
Five
times?
times.
Okay, 5 times you have to render or not. Okay, let's go then. Okay, how we can? 5 times I want. Come on, can I write like this? Hello Sachin, close my H1. Okay, this is one time. Like this, how many times you want? Like this, how many times? Okay,
5 times.
just I added like 5 times. Okay, now come here. Can I run this one? Can I refresh the page? Whenever you refresh, okay, now see this. My output is like what? My hello Sachin rendered like how many times? 5 times or not? But okay, yes, my requirement satisfied. That's okay, fine. But whatever the code, whatever the approach you used here, you followed here, is it the recommended way of writing the code? If it is not recommended way, why? Okay, if you observe here, you written like what? See, H1 hello Sachin, H1 hello Sachin. It's a kind of, okay, line number 12, you repeated like what? 4 more times or not? It's a kind of, it's a kind of duplicate code
Duplicate.
type. Okay, writing the duplicate code in any programming language, it's not a recommended one or not. Yes or no? Okay, this is you written the duplicate code. The next one is like, for example, today I want Sachin, tomorrow I want like Dhoni. Then the time, how many places that change is required?
5 places.
4 places, right? 5 places overall. Okay, Sachin, you have to change it like five times. You have to change it, Sachin to Dhoni or not. Making the changes also very costly or not. These two are like drawbacks, right? Yes, requirement satisfied, but whatever the code you written, whatever the approach you followed, that is not the recommended approach or not. Yes, no. Okay, now tell me another way how we can. Okay, very simple. I already told to you. Okay, second day. Why we go for components? Why we go for components?
We
To
can
prepare
reuse.
some templates, right? To prepare some content or not. Okay, now that day I showed like Amazon website, right? Okay, in this Amazon website, now see here, there has some heading is there. After that there has one image is there. After that there has one photo is there. Okay, some link is there. Here also heading, here also image, and some link is there. Look and feel wise, these all are like same or not? Yes or no? One. Look and feel wise, the content may be different. Look and feel wise, same or not? Content
Same.
may be same, my content may be different, that is secondary. But look and feel wise all are like same or not? If the look and feel wise my template is like same, Then that time you want me to design this one, this one, this one, or individual, or you want me to create one time one component, or you want me to use like multiple times. So which one is recommended one? Individual you want me to design, or you want me to design the template one time using React, you want me to use it? Which one is recommended one? Come on, create a template or create, okay, one component. You can use that component multiple times or not. Yes or no? The same approach can you follow here? Okay, hello Sachin, this is my template. What's wrong with this one? Okay, this is my template. The same template, look and feel wise, all are like same or not? Yes or no? If it is look and feel wise, my template is like common, is like same. Can you create one component with this particular template? Can you use that component 5 times? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So how we can prepare the templates in React? Using components. So can I create one more component? You can create any number of components. You can write any number of functions, right? Here function only acting like a component. You can create any number of components or not. So can I create a component? How we can create a component? As like a normal JavaScript function syntactically, more than that nothing. As like a normal JavaScript function, more than that nothing or not? Yes or no? This particular component I want to use to prepare this template or not? This template, see, this is the template. So how we can prepare the template? Very simple. Okay, this is the code, right? To prepare the template. Yes or no? Yes, I prepared the template. Okay, na? I prepared this template. Now tell me, this particular component, how many times you want me to use? You prepared the template. This particular component, how many times you want me to use? How many times you want me to use?
5.
5 times or
5
not.
times.
So how we can use this one like a component? How we can use this one like a component? As a element format or not? So if I use like 5 times, yes, okay, you can write like this. Now see, okay, my requirement is like satisfied or not? Now see, there has some, okay, this approach also not recommended one. We have to do some changes, but compare with previous one, it is somewhat better. Okay, now see this. How many times you written this code, this template? Only one time. Okay, only one line is there, but in future 100 lines of code is there. How many times you written this code? Come on.
1 time.
One time or not? If you want to do the same Sachin to Dhoni, how many places that change is required? One
One
place
place.
is enough or not? One place is enough or not? But your question is what? Hey, again you put like name 5 times. Okay, this is also not recommended one. Okay, for that purpose, we have one more concept is there. A list of names I want to prepare. Five names I want to prepare. For that purpose, we have one more concept is there. Lists and keys concept. That time you can come to know. Understood? For now, just hold. Okay, so it's somewhat better compare with the previous one or not? Yes, no. Come on. Now you can tell this particular one. This is my app. Huh? This code, terminology is what we can say. Terminology is what we can say. JSX. JSX is
JSX.
the combination of. JSX is the combination of
HTML, JS,
HTML,
and JSX.
JavaScript, and
XML.
XML or not. XML or not. Now div is what? HTML, JavaScript, XML. HTML. What about name? Is my name is like a HTML? Is my name tag is there in HTML? No,
XML.
right? Okay. Is it like JavaScript? No, right? It is like an element, the two user-defined element, right? The user-defined elements, what we can say? XML, right? Yes or no? So here we covered like what? HTML and XML or not? I already told you. Okay, JSX is the combination of HTML, XML, and JavaScript. It is not like all should be there. It's like a combination. It's like a combination. Now come to the name. Come to the name. Now here tell me. Come to the name. Here tell me.
HTML.
Okay, we have the JSX. It's like a normal HTML or not? Yes or no? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go with the next requirement. Okay, very simple requirement. This is also okay. Just I want like 4 boxes like this. Okay, I want like 4 boxes. This is one box. Okay, same. Okay, these four boxes, height and width, everything is like same. Okay, these four boxes, height and width, and everything is like same. Okay, I want to somewhat like this. Okay, now four boxes once you done. Okay, each and every box has their own numbers. This is my first box. Okay, this is my second box. Like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this numbers. This is my requirement. Okay, now. Okay, let's go there. If it is only the requirement somebody given, how we can start from your end? If it is only the requirement somebody given, how we can start from your end?
Create one HTML file.
Create one HTML
Pass the
file. Okay, let's
value to the
go.
specific JSX components.
Second.
Sir, need to pass the value to the specific JSX components. That is the required number 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to pass the data to the component. That is our next level. Props concept we are going to introduce. Okay. Now, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4 is not there. Simply. Okay. Only boxes I want. 4 boxes. Shall we? Let's go. Box.html. Tell me step by step. First, I need a container. ID equals to root. Next.
Root.
Come on. Inside the container, I want to place some content.
One
Okay. You
component.
can prepare the content using component or not. So can I create the component? Okay. What is my component? Just you can write like a component. Yeah. For now, component is used for what? To prepare
Web
some
content.
template, right? So can I prepare some template like this? Yes or no? For now, yes. This particular template you have to keep with me. No, you should have to write it or not. Who can recognize this one like a component?
React library.
React. Who can compile the JSX content?
Babel.
Babel. So that those two libraries are required or not? Done. Okay. How we can assign that work to my Babel? My type
Type.
equals to text Babel or not?
Babel.
Okay. The next step, this component I want to render inside the container. So
React.
React DOM come into the picture. Okay. React DOM dot create root is the
Create root.
okay, it's take your container reference. How we can get the container reference? Document dot get element by ID, whatever it is, recommended to use ID. Recommended to use ID. So it gives me what? Okay, container. Managed by whom?
React.
Okay, React. Okay, I'm using like the data type is like constant. Why? Because okay, I don't want to allow any other person to be assigned. Okay, done. Once you have the container, I want to render what? I want to render my component. That's it. Okay, now you can get which error? Same error. React DOM is not defined. Okay, React DOM is not defined. So can I use that React DOM? Yes. Now, can you come here, open with live server? Now you can see the box, but I don't want box like this. I want one box for now. How we can make it like box? Come on. I needed like 4
CSS.
sides with some border. That's it. Using CSS, right? Don't think more. I want to make it like look and feel. I want to change this look and feel. I don't want to text. Remove it. This particular div, can I add some CSS? Okay. How much height you want? 100 pixel per. How much width you want? 100 pixel, for example. Okay, next, I need a border, 1 pixel solid red or something. Now, this is my div. This is my div. Yes or no? Now, this particular CSS, I want to apply to whom? To my div or not. So, can I apply? Yes or no? To this particular div, I want to apply some CSS. How we can apply the CSS? In your HTML, if you want to write some CSS, how we can write it? Using which tag? Style tag. It's like a
Style.
internal or external styling. I'm using internal styling. Individual files I'm writing. Now, can I give one class? Okay. Can I give one class? Okay. Box. Okay. In CSS, I'm using like a class selector. Dot. Okay. You use it for what? To represent the class box. is my class name. Okay. Wherever the class name is like box, can you apply this CSS? Yes, you can apply. Now, if you come here, can I refresh my page? Now, how it looks like? There has one box created. I don't want this text. Can I remove it? Yes, you can remove. Now, come here and one box is ready or not. As per your requirement, only one box. Okay, now here in the console, there has one warning is there. What is that? If it is like a JSX, class, don't use it. Just use class name. If it is like a normal HTML and CSS, you can go with the class. But now onwards, if it is like a JSX, it's a JSX or not. Use class name attribute instead of class. It is going to work, but it gives me a warning. Now the warning gone. Okay, now tell me, how many boxes you required? As per your requirement, this is one box. How many boxes you required?
4.
4.
4 boxes. Okay, in one line, 2 boxes required. Can I add one more box here? Yes or no? Okay, now can I run it? Can I run it? Now, whenever you run, you get a compile time error. See the syntax error. Who checked the syntax errors? Who checks the syntax errors? Compile time errors, who checks?
Babel.
Babel. That means there has some syntax error. Syntax errors, there is no reasons. You need to follow the guidelines. That's it. Runtime errors, maybe there has some error. There has some logic errors. You may some mistake. You may did some mistake. But syntax errors, okay, you need to follow the guidelines. What they given. Whatever the mistake you did, you need to follow the guidelines. You have to fix it. There is no reasons for that. Why like this only? No, not like that. You have to follow. That's it. Now, can you read the syntax error? Adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. Adjacent is nothing but side by side. This is one JSX element now. Okay, it's like HTML, but it is JSX. Adjacent JSX elements, whenever you write like, okay, multiple JSX elements side by side, you should have to wrap those JSX elements in a single element enclosed with one element, he said. So that whenever you write multiple JSX elements, don't write directly. You can enclose with a single element. Now I enclosed with one div. My error gone. Now you can see that has 2 boxes like this or not. Okay, but as per my requirement, these boxes not like line by line, side by side I want. So that I'm going to use like display. I want to take only 100 pixel width. I don't want to take the full width. Why? Because my div is a block level element. Now see, there has, okay, one box to side by side or not. Like this, 2 more, okay, 2 more boxes required, right? Okay, now same line or different line? Same line or different line? Another line, right? Another line or not. So that, okay, you can use a break, okay, otherwise you can use div also. Okay, my div is which kind of element? You know, it's a block level. Block level is nothing but it is like always starts with a new line. Always starts with new line. Now these 2 boxes I want to keep inside this div. These 2 boxes I want to keep inside this div. So that total 4 boxes, okay, inside, okay, 2 divs or not. This div has 2 boxes. This div start with new line has 2 boxes or not. Now if you come here, okay, can I refresh? Now there has 4 boxes ready or not. Now tell me, is it the recommended way of writing the code? Is it the recommended way of writing the code? No, right?
No.
No, right? Okay, why? Because if you observe here, the template box, okay, how many times you used? Look and feel wise, my box 4 times you used or not? Same look and feel. Yes, no. If you have the same look and feel wise, okay, look and feel wise, it's like the same. Why I need to write like individual boxes? Can I create one box template or box component? Can I use that one 4 times or 40 times, whatever it is? Yes or no? Wherever the code, okay, wherever the template, if you see in your requirement, look and feel wise like same. Content, not a matter. Look and feel wise, if it is like a same, create a component, use that component how many times you want. Here also my box, look and feel wise, same or not? Look and feel wise same or not?
Same.
Yeah, same. If it is like same, why I need to write like 4 boxes individual like this? Can I create one box component? Can I use it? Yes, no.
Yes.
Okay, how you can create the box component? Function box. Okay, now here, see here one line of code, but in future 100 lines of code is there. 4 times if you write like 100 lines of code, 400 lines of code. Why I need to write? Okay, can I write one component with 100 lines of code? Can I use that particular component how many times you want? Yes, no. Okay, here my box component I want to use like 2 times. Here also my box component I want to use like 2 times. Now if you come here, can I refresh the page? Okay, my look and feel nothing changed, but the code wise you written the box code 1 time, you use it like 4 times or not? Yes, no. Got my point? Agreed with one?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is the way we can create any number of components. Now define a component, one line answer. Can anyone give? The component which is used to prepare some templates that can be reusable or not. Simple. That can be reusable or not. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay then. Let me share this code with you. Okay, this is my job. Okay, uploading the programs. Don't think more. So I have to upload kalamschools.com download section. Okay, now this is my map. Okay, once it is done, let's go to, okay, you can go to Kalam Schools. Okay, go to notes, go to MERN. Okay, here you can find your running notes and everything. Let's take this much time. Yeah, now here today there is no running notes, nothing. Na? Okay, I already added that, this one added now. Okay, now if you want download the class programs, just you can click on this, you can see the programs. Okay, now if you open this one, day 1 to till today, how many programs we discussed, everything you can find here. Okay now? Okay, so whatever we completed, okay, just practice those. Okay, whatever we completed in our classroom, just you can practice. Okay, write one example, your own thoughts. Okay, just you can think instead of box. Okay, I want like 4 circles. I want like 4 circles. Okay, like that you can take your own requirement, you can do it. Take your own requirement, you can do it. If you have any questions, just I'll allow you to share your screen. Okay, just you can share your screen in the class itself if you're stuck with something. Okay, okay then, thank you guys, thanks for joining. We'll continue remaining things in tomorrow's class. Bye.
Yes.